first and foremost, can you check out this shirt? This Tano shirt? Like, it's giving me life. I love it. It is so comfortable. And it's so cute. Like, it's like a spirit, like kind of like the Disney Spirit jerseys. This is from her universe, which is the company owned by Ashley Eckstein, who does the voice of Ashoka. So I had to buy this when it came back in stock, and I got it. And I'm gonna wear it like all winter now. So enjoy seeing me wearing this a shit ton. Alright, hey guys, how are you doing today? We are coming to the end of 2020. Finally. Like, I feel like this year has been 7 years long, but like we're still stuck in March. So like, I don't know where I feel right now. But I'm excited for it to be over. I'm excited to start a new year. So we're gonna go into the new year with a bang. And today I wanted to talk about a few series that I really want to complete in 2021. These are all series that are finished. Like, all the books are out, so there's no books on this list that we're waiting for the third book. Even if the third book is coming out in 2021, like, none of those are on here. These are all books that are completed series. You can pick them up and read them right now. Most of you probably have read these because a lot of these are backlist titles. So you may know I spent 7 years reading literally nothing after my oldest was born. And I'm changing that. You know, I've been a pretty avid reader once again now that I am older and my kids are older. And right now I'm like kind of going back and reading a lot of backlist titles. So a lot of these are books that y'all have probably read. So let me know what you think about them. The first like series that I want to read, I haven't even started yet. And that is the Nevernight series by J. Kristoff. This, I own all 3 books. I found them on like sale really cheap. So yay. But this is like an assassin school girl story, revenge, and I don't know a whole lot. I'm a little intimidated by this series, to tell you the truth, because of the footnotes, because I've heard that it's very purple prose. And I'm intimidated by this series, and I think that's why I haven't read it yet. But I do want to try to get to it in 2021 because everyone loves it, and I want to know. Like, either I'm gonna love it too, or I'm gonna hate it, and in that case, at least I know that I can get rid of the books and take them to my used bookstore, because either way I want to know. Am I gonna like it, or am I gonna want to get rid of the series? Because that's fine too, and it clears up room on my shelf. So I definitely want to try to get to Nevernight this coming year. The next one that I want to try to get to that is a completed series is Truly Devious. This is a trilogy by Maureen Johnson. The first book is Truly Devious. I think the last book came out this past year in 2020. But this is like a YA thriller trilogy mystery set in like a boarding school. And it follows kind of like this mystery from like years before, and then there's like a correlating mystery in today's time. And I love dual timeline, so that kind of makes me interested. I feel like this is like YA dark academia, so I'm kind of interested to see, again, is this one I'm gonna like, or is this one that I'm gonna want to like get rid of? The next one is again another like backlist YA title, and that is Kiss of Deception. I have heard so many good things specifically about the first book in this series, because it's very much this princess who's supposed to get married, and she like runs away, and you're following the perspectives of 2 men, one trying to kill her and one who is the prince, but you don't know who is who, and that just excites me. That makes me really curious. So I own the first 2 books, so I'm excited again to see, is this one that's gonna be for me, or is this one that I'm gonna be like, let's take it to the used bookstore? The next is a series where I have already read the first book, but I have not continued on, and that is Girl of Fire and Thorns. I have read this book. I've started the second book, but I'm only like 3 chapters in, but I really enjoyed this first book, and I kind of want to see where it goes, because while this is like slightly older YA, it does seem to have some really cool like typical trope aversion, which is something I love when you take a trope and flip it on its head. So I'm excited to see where this one goes. If you've read this, let me know. Is book 2 and 3 just as good as book 1? I also want to get to The Keeper of the Lost Cities. I know this is like a pretty big middle grade series, and I picked this up because I think it would be really fun to read with my 7-year-old. I have been really liking middle grade lately. And I think a big part of that is because my daughter is about at the age for middle grade. She'll be 8 in March. So I feel like this is just going to be a fun one to read out loud to her, where we can both enjoy the book, because it's like this girl and I don't know. This is also a book where I have read the first one but have not continued on, and that is Ash Princess. I really, again, liked this first book. I thought it was so good, and I own the other 2. I own the second and third books, but I haven't read them yet. So this is one that I really want to prioritize finishing in the year 2021. This is about a princess who has her entire kingdom slaughtered when she is a child. She has to like literally watch her mother be murdered in front of her. And she is the only member of the royal family left alive. And the only reason she's left alive is because the new king who kind of took over uses her against her people. Like he quells rebellion by publicly beating her and humiliating her and making her live in the palace amongst them. And just, it's a really cool concept. And she's trying to, you know, like take her kingdom back and take her power back. And it's a really fun YA story. There is kind of like a love triangle, which I don't love, but I can overlook that because I like the plot. Next up, we have a Cassandra Clare, and that is Clockwork Angel. I don't have a dust jacket because I got this like used at a library sale, but this is Clockwork Angel. I have not read any of the Infernal Devices. I read the Mortal Instruments forever ago. I read all 6 of them, and I don't remember what happened at the end. Let's be real. I don't remember what happened in the last book, like the 6th book. I don't at all. But this is one that I really am curious about picking up. I found all 3 books at a library book sale, so like why not? And I'm gonna try them. Either I love it or I don't. I hear this is like very love triangle heavy though, so I'm not 100% sure if I'm super excited. Please tell me in the comments like what your thoughts on the Infernal Devices are, like, because I'm a little scared. Next, I'm gonna be trying to get through the entire Wheel of Time. I have read the first book, Eye of the World, and the second book, The Dragon Reborn. I am on book 3, and I'm hoping to get super far into the series, if not finish the series in 2021. I'm actually going to be doing like a buddy read with some friends of mine who were all trying to get through the series. So as soon as we get to the 3rd book, I'm gonna just kind of like jump in with them right there. So yeah, this is a very long standing series. It's like a fantasy classic that I feel like I need to finish because I did really enjoy the first 2 books. Like I really, really enjoyed them. I just haven't continued on for some reason. All right, Next up is another one where like I haven't read any of the books, but I own all 3 because I found them like really cheap on sale, and that is Daughter of Smoke and Bone. This cover is super ugly, but whatever. I've heard a lot of good things about this. I know it's very like angels and gods and demons, and I don't really know the plot line. I'm pretty sure like that angels and demons and gods is like heavy in this, but I don't really know. This is one of those like I picked it up on a whim because the whole series was super cheap and I've heard a lot of people talking about it. So the hype kind of got me on this one. Next, I want to read The Diviners by Lippa Bray. I know the last book just came out, so I'm excited to finally start the series since the entire series is out now. This is like a paranormal like thriller kind of book set, I believe, in the 1920s, which I love the 20s. I think it's like a really cool like Flappers vibe. So I'm excited to see where she goes for this. And I think it's a 4-book series or a 5-book series. I own the first 3, but I don't know exactly how many books. I think it's 4, right? But yeah, I'm excited to get to this, and it just seems like so many people love it. It's one of those that I know I'm either gonna love or unhaul. So I also want to read the Lunar Chronicles. I've only read Cinder and I loved it. So after I read Cinder, I loved it. I bought the rest of the series and I haven't read it since. So this is like a kind of sci-fi-esque retelling of a bunch of fairy tales. Obviously the first one is Cinder, which is Cinderella. And we get her perspective, and then the second one is Scarlet, and I believe that's kind of like a loose Red Riding Hood retelling, and then all the stories kind of interconnect, and the plot lines weave with new characters and new fairy tales. So I'm excited to see where this goes, because like I said, I really enjoyed the first book. I also picked up this really cool bind-up of the Southern Reach trilogy, and I want to read like the whole thing in 2021. I read my first Jeff Vandermeer book this year, and that was Born, and I absolutely loved it. It was so weird and so good. So this is one that I'm really excited to read. I know that it was like adapted into a movie with Natalie Portman recently, but I have not seen that, and I don't plan on watching it, at least not until I finish the first book, because I know that's what the first one is, I believe, which is what, Area X, Annihilation? It's 3 books, I think. I don't know the titles of all of them. Here we go. Annihilation, yeah. Annihilation is the first book in this series, so I'm excited to get to it because I love Jeff Vandermeer's just like weird writing. All right, and the last one that I want to get to that is a completed series is the Coven series by R.A. Salvatore. This is the first book, Child of a Mad God. I have the second book and I need to pick up the third one. I read this year and absolutely loved it. Like, I feel like not enough people talk about this book. I know Books with Brittany loves this and Holly Hearts Books loves this, so I also really loved the first one. Brittany DNF'd the second one, but Holly Hearts Books loved all 3, I believe. So I'm excited to continue on with the series and just gonna see where it goes, because this was a super dark, like grim dark adult fantasy, and I need to know where it goes after the end of this first one, because like we're following this girl as she grows up in this very, very, very brutal patriarchal society, and I'm really curious to see where it goes after she kind of like defies everything that she knows. That is it. That is like the kind of main grouping of series that I own that I really want to complete this year. Like I said, these are all done. They're fully written. They're not waiting on more books. So these are completed series that I will hopefully make it to this year, maybe, kind of, sort of. If you've read any of them, let me know your thoughts, because I want to know like which one I should start with. Like, what should I go with first? Should I go into like something that I've already started, or should I go into one where it's like Nevernight, where I own all 3 books but I haven't read any of them? Let me know what you think. All right guys, well, thanks for hanging out with me. My name is Jessie and I will see you next time. Bye.